so much for being here to remember our dear friends, Alex and Martyn. I think of them very, very often. Hardly a day goes by without just remembering how present they were in Silver City and how many things that they did for all of us. So what we're going to do is I'll say a few words about the fund and Gila Community Foundation. Before that, Whitney will say a few words about the English breakfast we're about to enjoy. And before all of that, I'd first like to really thank Bear Mountain Lodge and all of their staff. They've donated everything today that we're experiencing. Oh, I'm sorry. Whitney is going to talk about the English breakfast.
Whitney or Julia.
No. Okay. Thought I had missed those. That's okay. So thank you, Bear Mountain Lodge. So that has enabled everything that all of you have given to go directly to the Alex and Martyn Memorial Fund. I also want to welcome the family of Martyn and Alex. We have Julie, who has traveled from England. We have Clark and Whitney, Alex's parents. We have Mel and Zaya. So thank you for being here.
Miss it.
Martyn and Alex's actual blood family. I really feel like they were a huge part of our Silver City family, and so are all of you. For those of us who have chosen to make Silver City our homes, and who maybe even moved here when we were younger. I know that includes a lot of you who are older than me now. You are our family also, and Alex and Martyn were such an important part of that Silver City family community, making so many things happen. So I now would like to introduce Alex's mother, Whitney, and she will say a few words about the English breakfast and why the English breakfast was so important to Alex.
Alrighty. Good morning. I'm Alex's mother, Whitney. We are here to celebrate Alex, Martyn, Mel, Zaya, and Addie for the great love they shared for each other and this community. We lived for a year in England during Alex's junior year of high school. She made great friends there and developed a fondness for all things English, including the traditional breakfast. So going back to research her thesis was great fun for me. We had several times that the men chased the women out of the kitchen. Turns out the full fry-up is the men's domain. The other thing that we found very surprising is everybody thought Heinz baked beans were British. Alex had to disabuse them of that, which was rather tough for her. As everyone who knew her knows, Alex was a great cook and a great teacher. So breakfast at her place, wherever that might be, was always the high point of the day. Alex loved family, friends, so it was very important for her to make sure Martyn, Zaya, and Addie had a Christmas in the UK with his family, including Judy, who is seated here with us. That also gave her a chance to connect her friends with his family. She loved it out here and was so happy with Martyn to give back to the community whenever there was a need. Swimming, soccer, biking, hiking, food, school. They were there. Many thanks to Matty, Mel, the foundation, John, and Linda for making this celebration possible. Love to all, Whitney and Clark.
Thank you, Whitney. And now I'll just talk a little bit about the Memorial Fund and what it actually is. We all knew Martyn and Alex in different contexts, in different ways, through different activities, I think. They were involved in just about every aspect of this community. And so there were lots of different ways you might have gotten to know. They were really some of the people who make things happen in Silver City. This is a small community, as all of you know, and so it's often a fairly small group of people that really make lots of what happens actually happen. And they made so many things happen. Signal Peak Challenge, they were involved in the Tour of the Gila, they owned a bike shop. Alex was a swim coach. She organized little, in the summertime at the Commons, she would organize little meals where she would cook a meal and show a movie for families to come and enjoy. She taught cooking classes. She organized the Aldo Leopold Charter School outings. Martyn was a musician. He was a poet. There were so many things that they were all involved in, and to be very honest, I didn't even know about all of them until we had already lost them. I mean, little old ladies came out of the woodwork talking about how they would write with Martyn and share their stories. So I think, to me, it's just not only have they left such a huge hole in our hearts, but a huge hole in our community. And, that can really never be filled. But it just felt important to me that we use the resources that we have here to try to remember them in a way that celebrates that energy and that commitment to all of us and this place. So Gila Community Foundation is a nonprofit organization that has existed for, I don't know, probably a little over 10 years. 12 years. So that's the turning point. If you can make it 10 years in this town, you might have a chance. And the Community Foundation is a large, overarching organization that has a mission of promoting philanthropy. So it can do that in many, many different ways. It can support nonprofits. It can support nonprofits working together. It can provide support for executive directors and boards to learn how to be nonprofits and how to serve. And very importantly, it serves as a way for people who want to give in a way that supports a geographic location. And that is so important to this geographic location because we're always worried about running out of money for basically everything here, right? We're petrified, what if the mine closes, what if this happens? I mean, there's lots of things that do close all the time here. So it's in constant flux and everybody is trying to make their annual operating budget all the time. But the Community Foundation is something that can think a little bit bigger than that, a little bit longer term than that, and can start to develop the concept of permanent giving and permanent funds in this place that's used to temporary and making the next cycle of funding. So there are many ways that people can do that within the foundation. The simplest is probably called a donor advised fund, and that's the way that this fund actually started. As a donor advised fund, and what that means is you just give a little bit of money to the foundation they set up a little segregated fund for that money, and you can give it all out. So it can be $5,000, it can be $10,000, and your goal is you're going to put money in periodically and you're going to grant that out. That's what the 30-something fund does, which Martyn and Alex were part of, and many of you are probably part of. That's a group that everybody gives $1,000 and then they grant out all of that money at once. So that's how this fund started, just to try to keep the memory of Alex and Martyn going here on some level. And over time, the fund has evolved. Toward the end of 2023, the fund had actually accumulated enough money that it looked like maybe it could get endowed. And being endowed is a huge step, because what that means is that you don't actually give away the principal that was given. You give away the growth. And in that way, it can actually last forever. And for me, that was just going to be a huge step, because I really think, Alex and Martyn would have continued to support this community as long as they lived, and perhaps even beyond their lives. And so it felt like, wow, if we could do that, this would be a way to demonstrate to the community that this concept can keep going, that you don't have to just spend everything and grant it out and be done with it. If we had $100,000 and we gave out $10,000 grants, that's it. Okay, we're done. But instead, this fund, thanks to some very large gifts from one of Alex's aunts in New York, and also a large donation from the Petrina Foundation, which Alex served on the board and has been important to her family for several generations. Plus, about 25% of the money was given by all of us and people in other places that loved Alex and Martyn in smaller increments. And so all of that together pushed the fund over $100,000, and so it could become endowed. Right now, the fund is at just over $150,000, which will allow it to give out probably between $5,000 and $10,000 every year forever. It will not stop at 10 grants. It will not stop at 15 grants. It will keep giving and giving, just like Alex and Martyn kept giving and giving. So this has been a very, it's been an evolution. It's still evolving, this fund. I'm working with the foundation right now to develop a simple grant application so that any nonprofits can apply for funding. It's not about me, and if you know me, and if you whatever, that's not what it's about. It's about trying to keep things happening in the way that Alex and Martyn would have. And one of the things that I noticed about the way that they did things is that they would make things happen, but not even ask or expect any recognition. That was never their goal. They would just freely and generously give for no reason other than they wanted it to happen. One thing that I remember very clearly is at Signal Peak Challenge one year, that always happened over Labor Day weekend, and it was a beautiful weekend, so people thought, hey, let's camp another night. And I remember saying to Robbie, well, I didn't really plan for 2 nights. I only really brought enough food for 1 night. We could probably scrape something together. Well, Alex had actually brought enough eggs to cook breakfast for everybody who just happened to stay that second night. And it was not a small number of eggs. And, she just brought out the stove and made that breakfast, and there was plenty for everybody to enjoy breakfast after an unexpected night of camping. So it's that spirit that I would like this fund to embody. Just, something needs to happen. Let's make it happen, Some organization needs help with something that might not happen. Let's just make it happen. And, you know, it's not going to be able to fund everything. It's not going to be able to fund everybody, but it will be there forever helping this community grow and thrive. So a few more details about the fund. So over this evolution, the fund has actually already given out a total of $15,000. It gave $5,000 to the town of Silver City to purchase bulkheads for the town pool. You don't know what a bulkhead is, but it's something you can hang on the lane lines that makes our 50-meter pool into a 25-meter pool. And that way Randy can have a shorter distance for the younger kids to learn to swim. And even my advanced kids can have more flip turns to practice in that shorter pool. It also has given 2 grants to GRIP to keep their summer youth day camp going. That's something where they offer a program in the summer that's a day camp where kids can go do things in the big ditch, and then they do a few field trips to the river. They do a little bit of hiking. They enjoy, you know, the outdoors, which was one of the things that Alex and Martyn enjoyed the most about this place. And part of the reason the fund gave to that program was because GRIP had actually not received some funding that they had expected. And so again, this fund could just kind of slip in and say, hey, let's not make a big deal about this, but let's just keep it happening this year. So that, you know, we can just have the things that need to happen keep happening. So this fundraiser so far has raised about $3,900, and that actually includes $1,000 that our friend Tanya Rivers raised by riding the Tommyknocker mountain bike race as a fundraiser. For your help and support. So really, you know, I think this fund could support any number of activities that need to keep happening in this town. I mean, youth mural project, culinary classes, amateur cycling, family-oriented events. I mean, really, it's all the things that they both loved. There could even be some new ideas that need support. I mean, Alex and Martyn were both big proponents of new things happening here, fun things happening here. The idea is just to keep it going. So thank you, all of you, for helping to make this a permanent source of funding for our community. Alex and Martyn really made Silver City better for everyone, and I hope that this fund can continue to grow and support our community and be a lasting legacy in their honor. It may even inspire other people to create permanent funds, because this town really needs the people who are here now to support its future. So thank you so much for being here, and please enjoy your breakfast. Clark will have a couple of things to say at the very end of the breakfast, but just sit back and enjoy. Thank you so much.
Well, I'd like to say how pleased Whitney and I are to be here, and for you to set this up for us, and for us to be here at the Bear Mountain. It's been third home for Whitney and for me for almost a decade. About that time, Alex said, don't come over to Culberson, Daddy. I know you and Mom will be a lot happier at the Bear. And so it's really poetic for me, as difficult as it is to say, that it's a real joy that Alex put us on this path long ago, and you're all here. So this is clearly, Maddie, thank you so much. This is truly a gathering of eagles, and I'm so pleased to see the progress that has been made. I'd just like to say a word or two about this wonderful breakfast. I was so pleased with what Alex did, because with all of her culinary science and her studies at NYU, she could really reach out and touch this in the time that she lived in England. And so I was so pleased when she was working on her thesis that I thought we had some opportunities for some additional real history. And she started her thesis off beautifully with one of my favorite authors, which is William Somerset Maugham, which said that to dine well in England, one should take breakfast 3 times a day. Now, if you know a little bit about Somerset Maugham, he loved France a lot. So this is kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. What I hoped Alex would be able to do, and I don't know if we'll find a writer to do it, is to think about the history of certain serious battles. And I'll make this quick. One, the battle here in America, the Battle of Saratoga, Burgoyne, and our wonderful American general, which is slipped away on me right now. But you know what Burgoyne was doing before the battle was lost. That was having his English breakfast. And if you think about Yorktown, you think about Washington and Cornwallis. Same story. Cornwallis did not come out of his tent. He sent one of the Danes to surrender to Washington. And perhaps the most disastrous breakfast, I think, of history that I'm aware of is the charge of the Light Brigade in the Crimean War, where the general was busy with his breakfast, and the aide came running up and he said, "Let him go." And 600 of the greatest horsemen and fighters in history went into the machine guns, and most of them were slaughtered. So anyhow, the English breakfast has quite, I hope, a lot more to be followed, but I know that Alex's professor would love to be here today. I'll leave you with this. Whitney and I have a little souvenir for any of you that would like. We have some books here that were prepared for Alex's syllabus for the class that she was going to teach, that Aldo Leopold. And of course, she didn't make it to accomplish that. But the books are here, and we have Jay's beautiful photograph of her doing the English breakfast in the mountains for her friends and family. So Jay Hemphill, thank you again. He got a little notification at the bottom. And I did check with Aldo to be sure that we were allowed to offer the syllabus to all of you. And I was informed by the chairman that yes, indeed, you're welcome to take these. If we run out, we have 25 of them. Some may be couples, but if we run out, just leave your name and your contact, and we'll be sure that you can receive it. So thank you very much for all of your attention and care. My mother sent, this is the end, my mother sent a wonderful music box to me with a little note. It played beautiful Carpenter music, and it was appropriate to this message. And that message is, having a child is forever having your heart walk around outside your body.
Oh.
And I can tell you that our hearts for Martyn and Alex are here in Silver City with all of you forever. Thank you very much.
Just thank everybody in Silver City, and particularly everybody here, that always makes us so very, very welcome. Martyn was a joy, and when he met Alex, it was just perfection. For me, Alex's contribution to the English breakfast, which I'm pretty familiar with, is her joy of English tea. Yorkshire Gold tea is just the best, and we both share that love for it. So every time I come here, I have to bring a drop of Yorkshire tea with me so that anybody who visits can have an English cup of tea. So I just want to thank everybody for all that you do for Martyn and Alex's foundation. They were adorable. Sad loss to everybody, but thank you for all being here today.